Welcome back, everybody, to game number 2. This is Eclypsia versus Fnatic. Eclypsia took game number 1 in rather convincing fashion. We're bringing you game number 2. This time the teams have switched. Eclypsia going to be on the Radiant, not going to have quite as good access to Roshan. And Roshan did prove to be crucial for them. As we saw Angel die in a Mirana, came right back to life and just right-clicked everyone to death. Really well played by Mania on that Shaker. Overall, Eclypsia just executed better in the mid-game. Hopefully we'll see Fnatic stepping their game up. They started off really well. No-Tail was, or excuse me, Era, or who was it? No, it was No-Tail farming like a champ in that middle lane on the Enigma, but just wasn't able to do too much for it. With it, we saw Fly on Panda, just not the best ultimates, didn't find the openings for them. Will they go for another team fight lineup? Will they try something different, maybe go for some more push early on? We'll have to see. And joining me, of course, is Luminous.
Hey, I'm here. I'm very happy the way that Fnatic played despite their loss. Of course, the mid-game fight was not the best, but remember our focus for Fnatic was for them to win the early games, and I think they did. I think they did a fairly good job. They out-farmed the enemy team. They got the crucial Blink Daggers. Everything before that point was perfect. You know, it could be proved wrong, but it was really, really good. Everything that came after, well, maybe not so much. So execution seems like it's a little bit lacking, but the early game is solid, and I think if they play 10 games where they have the solid starts like these, they're going to win a lot of them. So despite their loss, I felt like Fnatic play well, and they have really, really good chances walking into game number 2. As we talked about earlier in the Premier League, neither of these teams have the best standings, but we're only like in week 3 right now, so there's a lot of time for adjustment, a lot of time for changes. Despite being in Panda, Eclypsia says, yeah, we don't want to really deal with that hero, so we're going to ban that alongside with Invoker, and Fnatic's going to be banning the Lycanthrope and Furion, as they did in game number 1, I believe.
Well, important to note here, Eclypsia has the first pick, so the fact that they banned Panda means they don't want to first pick him. It says, it's always interesting to see how these teams choose to ban and pick heroes, depending on which team has first pick. When they had second pick, they didn't ban the Panda. Of course, he was first pick, but they're willing to give him away when they have the second and third picks to go. Not willing to do so when they're not going to first pick him. They don't want to give him up as a second pick, is basically what they're telling us.
Tidehunter is going to be the third ban. Seems like they don't want to deal with that hero, although Fnatic's quite team fight oriented, so that's a fairly smart ban. We did see Fnatic banning them when they had first pick themselves. So again, a little bit of first, second pick kind of mind games. The question is, will it be Brewmother that slips through? Will it be Chen that slips through? No, Chen's not going to... Okay, Brewmother first pick.
Nice try there, Lumi. Fnatic is all over that. They're not going to give away a Chen first pick. And
I thought they were going to pull a complexity, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, you could have Chen, whatever.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is quite as confident versus Chen as complexity. Leshrac first pick, a lot of pushing power off the bat. I mean, we've seen how much Leshrac is trending upwards lately. And this gives them a lot of flexibility. He can do it all. He can play hard support, although he's not the best at it. He can play a farming support. He can play even your third position, or even higher. We've seen teams run him as their primary, secondary farmer. Doesn't reveal anything, but gives you a lot of options, gives you a lot of early game strength. And hey, we talked about stun-heavy lineups for Eclypsia going into game number 1. Here they started off with a stun.
Well, there's a stun so far. Probably 5 more to follow, depending on the hero lineup. And now it's back to Fnatic. Are they going to go with what they know, which is the Morphling, the Enigma? Venomancer seems like the hero they like to pick up quite a bit. I felt like whenever Fnatic pick up Venomancer, I have not seen them win yet. That hero just simply don't contribute a lot, especially on the primary support kind of status. But they're going to pick up Brewmother, that's correct, and a Sand King. And the reason the Sand King is picked up immediately after is, well, you're going to get rid of 1 counter of the Brood, although Darkseer is still in the pool, and I do believe Eclypsia could pick into that if they want to do so. Also, Sand King is what Hani played. Again, it was a decent Sand King. He got his ultimate canceled a couple times, but he got us up to a quick blink despite facing against a very oppressive duel lane. I think that's a good start for him. Yes, Darkseer is going to be an immediate pick, no surprise here. And I think Eclypsia with these heroes, they could go into a big team fight oriented lineup.
Yeah, we've seen the power of Darkseer over the past week, whether it was the Star Series land. We also saw him over the weekend in some other games Luminous and I were casting. Darkseer is a really strong hero, and he's popular again, guys. It's surprising that he hasn't been banned a little bit more. Actually surprised he hasn't been picked up after all the success teams have had. But it seems like each team has their own style in terms of when they want to pick him, when they want to run him. I did see a Darkseer first pick. I can't remember where that was, but I know I cast one recently. So some teams even value him that highly. And this was the first pick of the draft, not just a first pick for the team with the second pick overall. Darkseer certainly has a lot of team fight power, gives you another strong laner, another hero that's difficult to kill. In this case, I think primarily being picked up, well, there you go, to combo with the Enigma and the Leshrac. That is a scary 1-2-3 punch. But also gives you the nice added benefit of being decent versus Broodmother in the lane.
Yeah, I mean, there was that Darkseer accept a nerf, quote-unquote nerf, but it didn't take long for people to figure out, hey, his vacuum is still damn good, so we're going to pick him just for the team fight capability. Of course, he has Lane, he has the Surge as well. And of course, with the Black Hole, I will always put this point in, it really lessened the stress on both the Enigma and on the Darkseer. You could just Black Hole and probably not going to get all fired, but the vacuum will pull everyone in. Or you could vacuum and the Black Hole comes in, and that's going to be your wombo combo. So right now, if you're Fnatic, you got to go with long-range stunts, you got to go with mobile heroes. Broodmother is a mobile hero, but he's melee as well, so that doesn't help. Let's see, we're going to see some adjustment. Morphling, I think, would be pretty good here, although that's going to give you a lot of farming-oriented heroes. And we definitely saw that did not really work out in the past here for Fnatic.
I don't think Morphling is the pick here for exactly the reason you stated. That requires a lot of farm. He takes so long to get going, and in the meantime, all these strong early-game, mid-game teamfight heroes are going to be pressuring you nonstop. They pick up the Vengeful Spirit. That'll give them some initiation, some insurance against that Enigma Black Hole. No matter what, if Venge gets a swap off, that Enigma Black Hole will be cancelled. But that being said, again, not the strongest laning hero. And you're up against Leshrac, you're up against Enigma. If these heroes are in the lane, there's practically nobody better. I mean, even level 1 Edict is devastating. We saw how good Enigma can be, whether he's soloing mid. We've all seen him jungle before. We've all seen him even suicide lane. He can deny creeps. He last hits really well, thanks to those summons. Very strong lanes for EC, and they still have a lot of flexibility with carry. They could go for Morphling, to speak of that hero. Of course, that would be another farmer, but I think they're set up now if they want to pick even an anti-mage. They've got decent early game, and they've got decent mid game. They've got the team fight. Really, the world is their oyster. At this point, they need a support and possibly a carry.
Yep. Just go back to the Vengeful Spirit pick. I mean, on paper, it looks really good, right? How you got a swap here, you're going to be canceling the Enigma Black Hole. But I mean, if you think about it, the way that Fnatic's been playing their support, they always get under level. When the game ended last time, Venomancer and Crystal Maiden, what were they, level 8, level 9? Swap's really good to cancel Black Hole only if you have a level 11 Venge and above. And I don't think Fnatic's going to have that this game, to be honest, especially if Venge is going to take the, be thrown under the bus, eating edicts and whatnot. He's not going to have the level 11 swap, and level 6 swap simply is just too short. The Enigma's going to channel the Black Hole for a long, long time.
Wow, Shadow Demon getting banned. I like the ban. He's pretty good against Darkseer. He's also good against any hero that wants to go in offensively. Let's say Leshrac is on top of you. You can defensive disrupt. You can disrupt the Leshrac, and then that hero can skate out of there. Of course, the Purge does remove Surge, and hey, I rhymed too while I was making that reference. And it's a cheap support. He doesn't need many items, so now the pool is a little bit more limited for Fnatic. We saw how squishy Crystal Maiden is. Sure, she's nice early on. They set up that long smoke gank all the way from top down to bottom. But after those, first few early kills, she's pretty much just food. At best, she drops a Nova, maybe a bite. Her and Venomancer are really all that's left in the pool in terms of reliable common supports. There are outliers, there's heroes like Twin-Headed Dragon, heroes like Ancient Apparition in the pool. Speaking of long-range stuns, maybe Twin-Headed Dragon is the answer. That Icy Path, if you can set it up, it's not reliable, but if you can land it, hey, there's a way to stop a black hole from a distance.
Hey, if that guy's standing there channeling a black hole, you don't need much skill to aim that one. Of course, Witch Doctor is a possibility. If the cast is flying, even if the black hole goes up, there's a possibility that the cast will find Enigma and cancel that one. But again, those heroes not exactly too mobile, so you got to worry about that factor as well. Fnatic needs some mobile heroes, and right now it's their last ban. Let's see what they're afraid of coming into this drafting stage. Again, like you pointed out, Eclypsia has a lot of room. They're afraid of Imran, and rightfully so, because Angel kind of ripped a couple of, in the last game.
He did some very unpleasant things to them. Well, Crystal Maiden won't be going Fnatic's way because she was picked up by Eclypsia. I like the choice. Fits in well with their lineup. They're all mana hungry. Yes, even Enigma is. We saw, actually, talking about mana hungry, we saw Enigma desperately wanting mana in that team fight near the end of the game, was not able to get it. So that's not going to be an issue for Eclypsia, hopefully anyway, if the R gets maxed. Although these two were paired together, and the mana was not there when needed. Anyway, I like the pick. It's going to support all these mana hungry heroes well. It gives you some good aggression. Eclypsia, a very aggressive lineup. Will they pick up a hard carry? Will they go all in? One other long-range stun I want to mention, because I'm just very caught up on this idea of the Wombo combo. Enigma's got to be stopped somehow. Beastmaster's in the pool. Does pair pretty well with the Venge. They don't have much late game right now. I mean, you talked about Venomancer can be a decent semi-carry in game number 1, and that's certainly true, but Not the best late game hero, and the way they play him, he doesn't get farmed. Ooh, Bounty Hunter gets picked up. I like this a lot.
This is gonna be nice. The question is, where will they lane this? I mean, before this Bounty Hunter was picked up, just judging by the first 4 pick, I thought we were going to see Darkseer top, Enigma defensive jungle, dual lane bot with the Lesh and Crystal Maiden, so you could get that first tier 1 tower pushed down very quickly with the Enigma coming out of jungle, and then you could have whoever that's going to get picked up here to go mid. But now the Bounty Hunter, I mean, he can still do mid, definitely have my share of mid or feed with Bounty Hunter kind of strat in pubs. But not sure now. With the Bounty Hunter, you might want to do Enigma mid and do a dual lane bot, tri-lane bot. Yeah, it kind of throws in, everything out of the picture as we see Ancient Apparition being picked up. So the question is Venomancer getting the farm? Is Ancient Apparition getting the farm? Is Sanking getting the farm? We'll see.
I don't know how I feel about this lineup. They've, again, two reliable stuns. Bounty Hunter, well, he does not have Leap. He's got that track move speed. He's got Windwalk. They don't have much lockdown, and they really need it. I mean, Bounty Hunter, while he's not the hardest late game carry, he gets strong really fast. As soon as Janata is maxed, even with only 1 or 2 levels in Windwalk, he hits like an absolute truck. I mean, you can see him crit for over 200 damage with no items. And then if you add in any sort of damage, suddenly he's 1-shotting or 2-shotting. A lot of these squishy heroes, and again, Fnatic has a squishy lineup. They don't have a single naturally tanky hero. Now, I did update the scoreboard. Apologize for that. Let's introduce the players real quick. Nova going to be handling the Ancient Apparition in that hard support role, as he always is for Fnatic. Hani on the Sand King, headed towards the bottom lane. That is a strong dual stun combo. Will guarantee the Cold Feet gets off. No Tail on the Vengeful Spirit, heading towards the middle lane. Fly looks like he might be farming. Actually, I believe he bought the Courier or the Sentry Wards. He's going to be playing that Venomancer. And Hani now heading up top. Who did I forget to introduce? Era going down to the bottom lane on that Broodmother.
I would ask you to introduce the Radiant Squad as well. Seems like my Dota 2 is a little bit buggy. Don't want to have a...
No problem. So we have Koga, who I believe you said is Miguel, playing that Bounty Hunter. Rise on the Crystal Maiden. Hard support, already picked up wards and sentry wards. They want to make sure they get these pulls off, or maybe they're going to run a jungler. Looks like they are. Playmate has a smoke on the Darkseer. He may be looking to do some jungling antics with stack pulling of the hard camp, and then eventually clearing it out with a smoke and an Ion Shell. Angel on the mid lane, going to be in a farming role on Shrek. Looks like he might be going for a quick earn. I like that choice. Not rushing a bottle, though. Mania on the Suicide lane. Going to be playing that Enigma. He's picked up 6 Clarities. We're going to be seeing him deny creeps all day long.
Mania on the Suicide lane. That is something that we don't see quite often. And generally is handled by Playmate or Angel. But hey, again, we talked about how easy they could kind of swap their roles and play it to their full effectiveness. And Hani going to be on Sanking again. That's what I'm looking forward to. Is he going to play as well as the Sanking as he did in the game number 1? Getting a quick farm on the Blink Dagger. And then having, some kind of lackluster initiation. But we'll see how it's going to work out here. But it's going to be a dual lane bot here for the Crystal Maiden and the Bounty Hunter. And against a Broodmother, I think Bounty's going to have free farm here.
Yeah, I mean, he might have a little bit of trouble stopping the push if Crystal Maiden leaves him alone. But for now, if she's in the lane, it's going to be tough for Era. I love these early Sentry Wards. They're going to really shut down Era. One still available. They dewarded the pull. Now they can place one in the lane. He's going to drop it now. I would have liked to see him hold on to that until the Broodmother, until the creep equilibrium settles a little bit. But hey, he's going to be able to zone Era out. Era will not be pleased about this. Looks like he's going for Reina Basilius, and will be some added pushing power. They don't have too much in the way of creep clearing. So if Era gets, say, level 5 and he's doing okay, well, he can just overrun Crystal Maiden and Bounty Hunter. They're going to need some help from the Darkseer. Speaking of that Darkseer, it is Playmate. He's doing the standard jungling shenanigans. By which I mean you kill off the small camp, then you go stack the big camp right before the minute changes, and then you keep on doing this 3 or 4 more times. And then during the interim, you can roam around the jungle. And then eventually you clear off that big camp, you get a whole lot of gold. Up in the top lane, not too much going on. Hani tanking some tower shots, that's unfortunate.
Back in the mid lane here, a very interesting lane assignment for the Fnatic squad. We have a dual lane mid, Vengeful Spirit and Venomancer, neither of which have really long range, but hey, if it's a 2v1 situation, Angel, despite having 600 range, is being kept back. He just turned level 3, as these two supports, quote-unquote supports, will be turning into level 2. Of course, definitely seen in the past, Vengeful Spirit solo mid grabbing the farm. We saw the trend being started by Na'Vi. I'm not sure if this is a direct kind of taking a page out of their playbook. But, well, that's what they're trying right now. Let's see if it's going to be effective.
Yeah, I wanted to mention the exact same thing. You took the words right out of my mouth, Lumi, but we definitely are seeing a farming bench here. A 600 gold in the bank. Now, for me, what I'm really curious about is First of all, how does No Tail skill? So far it looks standard. His skill build suggests a very ganking-oriented build. Makes sense given their lineup. They have the Broodmother for push, but that's really about it. In the bottom lane with the Sentry Ward here, Era is not having a good time. Bounty Hunter is one of the best heroes to lane against Brood, aside from the traditional counters, which of course are Darkseer and Sand King. Because yeah, Brood's invis and she can harass you, but you can do the same thing, and you hit really hard with Janata. The one thing Broodmother is going for her is eventually, if she gets the Spider Lanes, there's no AoE, aside from the Nova, which is not going to be that leveled up for a while, since Crystal Maiden is only doing some pulling. I'm curious to see how this lane develops. If Bounty Hunter gets a lot of free farm, it's going to be trouble, though. As it looks like action in the middle lane. Fly taking a lot of damage. I saw his HP dropping rapidly there. I believe it was thanks to the Edict. He's going to be okay in the end. But Angel getting a decent trade there in terms of damage done.
Well, there's some small intricacies in the mid lane that I would like to point out here. If you look at No Tail, his skill build is tier at level 3, so it seems like they want to push this lane. I would be very surprised if Flight doesn't actually put a lot of points into Plague Words now and try to push that lane with the help of that tier. Command Aura could be selected at 4 as well if you really want to go crazy about that. But we'll see what he wants to do. And I really don't like Angel's adjustment. He saw the dual lane mid, but he actually went for Diabolic Edict. That would be a very, very good build if someone comes around the mid lane and try to get a gank setup. But unfortunately, I don't think he could really walk right next to a Venomancer or a Vengeful Spirit. Especially they do have so much burst damage, they have so much slow and stunning. I just don't think this is the correct build. I think Lightning would give him the farm, could push the lane back, he could even go for the runes if you really want to. But this lane just doesn't give him, this skill build just doesn't give Angel enough range to work with.
Well, he's not going to have the creep equilibrium in his favor. That much is clear. There's 2 heroes here. Of course, we're going to have Plague Ward soon. We've already got the level 2 Wave of Terror. If you don't have the equilibrium in your favor, that means they have creeps to tank your Edict. Or at least they should if they're not diving you out of position. And of course that means Edict won't be that effective in terms of dealing damage. My initial thought process was, well, hey, you're going for Edict, Vengeful Spirit, and Venomancer, pretty low range. So if they want to attack you, they're going to have to be close to you. But if the creeps are in your favor, that really doesn't matter. And of course, Venge and Veno are going to be very good at chasing anyone down. Huge fight here for the bottom rune. Fly's going to just give it up to Angel. Smart choice, as he probably would have been stunned if he went for it. Maybe could have gone for a slow and tried to juke the stun. But either way, he's going to back off. Big pickup for Angel simply to deny that to this very potent dual roaming combo. Or dual laning support combo, as they could easily pick up a kill with that rune.
Yeah, I mean, with Angel getting the haste rune, he feels a little bit more aggressive, even getting some physical pot shots in. And look at No Tail's skill build, Command Aura 4, or Vengeful 4, as it's called in Dota 2. They really want this push. Fly should be dropping down those wards, maybe he's waiting for level 4. Back on the bot lane here, it seems like Broodmother's getting a little bit of lane control going on, but top lane is where the action is at right now. They really want to push down this tower. We haven't really looked at Nova and Hani yet, but this Burrow Strike and a Kofi combo is very, very threatening. And you can see that Mania is just staying very, very far back.
Mania is sitting incredibly far back. One of the downsides to running an Enigma in this position, like a Lich, he does, by denying creeps to create Eidolons, he does allow the enemy to push the lane. Hani last hits the tower. That's going to be quick Arcane Boots, or if he wants it, he can have a Blink Dagger and 400 gold, and that is a really, really early Blink Dagger.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like...
I'm not saying we're C1.
Well, I think that's what we're going to see. He's probably going to go for it. He did skip Arcane last game. Back on the bot lane here, as we see initiation going on Era, we do have level 6 on track. Ryze might be in trouble as Era decides to turn around, but here comes Playman. I think that's going to be a kill. First blood goes on the Broodmaster. God damn it. And same thing, we saw Broodmother dying to first blood. This is kind of an uncommon occurrence, if you ask me.
Yeah, I also want to... it's not a good start. Bounty Hunter is getting... I mean, I don't want to say he's getting out of control, but you don't want to give up first blood to such a snowball-based hero. He's going for a Ring of Aquila. I'm curious, will he pick up a Vlad's? Or is he just getting that Ring of Aquila and going to go back for some damage items? Maybe a BKB, something a little bit more traditional. We'll have to see. Bounty Hunter's not played all that frequently in the competitive scene. But it remains to be seen. Hani, he went for 1 level of Caustic Finale last game. This time around, he's going for 2. No points in Sandstorm. Feeling very aggressive. Pushing the lane constantly, but I think Mania is actually going to be pretty happy with this. Hani by himself is not going to get a tier 2 tower, which means a lot more EXP for Mania. He's getting close to level 6.
Yeah, very interesting lane switch now. They're saying, okay, Playmate towers pushed down. Here you get some farm now. I'm going to send a Mania to somewhere else. And looks like we're going to have an Epicenter being channeled on Mania. Mania will be going down. Great use of that first Epicenter to pick up a free kill. I mean, the cooldown is fairly long. Here comes Angel. Will he get out the kill, though? I think so. He's going to try to Burrow Strike out. Oh, the lack of lightning will actually make sure that... But here comes Playmate. Playmate's going to come around. He will have Vacuum. There is a Vacuum. No, he misses. Hani's salving up, and I think he's going to be fine. He will have Burrow Strike right now, yes. A couple of misplay here from Eclypsia. And Hani decides to, well, just hightail the way out of it. He actually went for Arcane Boost, not Blink.
Wow, big play by Hani. We've seen his over-aggression punished in a lot of the other games we've casted. Or that we've cast, but he really made it work there, escaping from the Darkseer. Not only are you getting that Enigma kill, you're using the Epicenter productively. This early on, it's not a big deal at all to waste, or to use it on a single hero kill. You're not likely to have a team fight. If you just look at the map, at most there's 4 heroes in one lane, and that's between 2 teams. That being said, Koga, or rather Miguel, was having a very good time in the bottom lane. Nova, is he disconnected? It says he is in-game. He's going to go down instantly. Just food for Miguel. This is something you cannot afford to do against a bounty hunter. If you give him kills, every kill is an extra, what is it at level 1? Extra 150 gold, 50 extra gold for the Crystal Maiden. Speaking of that Crystal Maiden, she's got boots, which 8 minutes in, not too bad, and she's been buying wards constantly for the team.
Yeah, that track bonus gold definitely helping out. Back in the mid lane here, they are trying to push down this lane, and trying they are. They're not really getting too much success. Of course, Tower is half HP. I'm surprised that they're not getting that much done, to be honest, because really, again, Angel doesn't have the Lightning Bow. Of course, he is spamming the Split Earth to get some damage done to the creep wave, but we see level 3 Venomancer wards, we see level 3 Terror and an Aura on Vengeful Sphere. I think this tower should have been dead by now, but again, I guess these two are not doing that good of a job in terms of mowing down creep wave, especially against Split Earth. I mean, that is a big DPS spell against the entire wave.
Yeah, maybe he didn't need lightning after all, or maybe they're just not taking advantage of this combination enough. Either way, the tower isn't down, and ultimately Eclypsia will be happy with that. Let's take a look at item progression here while we have a moment. Bounty Hunter with Power Treads, Reign of Aquila, Poor Man's Shield, a lot of cheap items. This is normally how you see anyone build Bounty Hunter. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Drum next or a Medallion. Cheap, effective items because you don't need to farm for anything big. As long as you get kills, that's going to give you the gold you need to get to that next item. So as long as he continues to get a kill here and there, he's going to be farming nicely. Era's still level 5, doesn't even have his ultimate yet. Broodmother's being shut down quite hard, 16-1, and the creep score 0-1 in terms of the kill score. Crystal Maiden, I don't even want to look. Oh, she's actually the same level as Era. That is not something you ever want to see, the Broodmother being the same level as a Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, Crystal Maiden was able to do a couple of pull to kind of supplement her level gain. Of course, the kills on both Ancient Aberration and on the Broodmother earlier definitely helped out in that regard. And, you know, she's not dying, so that definitely helps out here. 2 kills on Koga already, or Miguel, and he's going to be going big. And I agree with what you said about the item progression, as I feel like Bounty Hunter is one of those heroes that, like you said, without even any damage item, his Janata would be sufficient, at least for the early and mid game. All you really want is survivability and mana to cast your spell. So I think Drums would be a very, very good item. But if, you know, Migo wants to go something else, maybe a SMY, that would be pretty cool. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of item builds on Bounty Hunter. And I think all of it would fit pretty decently in a game like this, where there's so many easy food target. Vengeance is a target, Venom's a target, Ancient Aberration is a target. And I think, you know, Broodmother is the target as well if you have the track and Crystal Maiden back you up. So there's a lot of relative easy hero that Koga could pick off. Even
the Sand King, Hani's been having a good start, but look at him, 1815 health. That's pretty much 1 Janata crit, plus a Shuriken, and then maybe 1 other stun, and that's going to be a kill. And if he's rushing a Blink Dagger, it's really going to come down to the initiation, as he's going to be quite squishy. Hani's having a healing cell ferried up to him in the top lane, a lot of arrows being drawn middle. Not sure if these are actual diagrams or just the players being bored. They're going to get a drink. Yeah, this is the not the problem, but one of the downsides to the Dire lineup. Even though you have heroes that can be tanky later in the game, for example, Broodmother can be very hard to kill when she gets a BKB up and she's lifestealing in it. But for now, she's just food. So Fnatic says they will be ready in 2 minutes. In the meantime, we're just going to hang tight here, guys. I'm going to take a look at the creep scores here. 42 up on No-Tail, 41 on Hani, 16 on Era. Pretty, I mean, the farming distribution, you mentioned the under-leveled, under-farmed supports. Looks like we're going to be seeing them again. The levels are not too great. I mean, Fly's level 5, that's nice, but no creeps, no real items to speak of. Nova only level 4. That's going to be the problem. We saw what happens when Nova gets off to a bad start, as he ends up being food, and Bounty Hunter's even better at picking off those squishy supports than Mirana is, especially early on. So, going to be something to keep an eye on. Will Nova be able to get level 6? Will he be able to get any kind of survivability up? And if he does, will it be enough? On the Radiant side, the farming distribution a little bit more balanced. Miguel with 37 creeps, 10 denies, great farm for him. 17 on Mania, 20 on Angel, 29 on Playmate. And even Ryze getting 8.
I'm glad you brought up the levels because I actually like the fact that No-Tail's getting a lot of farm in the mid lane. He's got 42 creep kills. He's level 6. We talked about how very important level 11 Vengeful Spirit is against Enigma Black Hole. And God forbid, if he ever gets level 16, well, the initiation is going to be through the roof. Nova not getting that many level is a problem, but I mean, Ancient Aberration here is a hero that you want to stay back. So as long as he hits level 6 where he get off his ultimate, that's going to be pretty cool. I mean, you want level 11, obviously, but level 6 is decent here. And No-Tail will be grabbing a haste rune on the top lane. Let's see if he wants to set up a gank on the top lane. He's going up there. And I don't think Playmate realized yet that he's had no ward, but I think he will be able to back up in sufficient time. Yeah, there's going to be a tear, but is there any follow-up stun? Swap, we're going to see a swap. Burrow Strike, that is going to hit. Ultimate, is it going to get Channel? No, with the haste rune, they are going to get the kill. Very, very nicely kill pick up by Sanking. And he's just about 300 go from that blink.
Yeah, great rotation, and as there was a kill, I guess that was on the middle lane, Fly getting picked off. The supports, man, they're not having a good time so far. No-Tail, not a support this game. I mean, sure, it's a Vengeful Spirit, but look at these items. Has the Reign of Akil up, he's getting a lot of creeps, he's getting a lot of farm, and most importantly, he is getting the levels. About to hit level 7, that's going to be a max Terror. And Terror will be a terror versus this Radiant lineup. They are very low in terms of armor. Well, you have Bounty Hunter Darkseer, but even then, Bounty Hunter with pretty low natural HP pool, still sitting around 800. And the max Terror, it's a lot. -5 armor is huge against Crystal Maiden. It's huge against Enigma, and of course, it's pretty nice against Leshrac too.
I mean, I actually want to sit down and do the math about this. I know I'm a pretty big nerd when it comes to things like that, but how much Terror is going to help out when you don't really have that much physical right-click? I mean, you have a Venomancer, you have an Ancient Aberration. They're not exactly beasting up in the physical DPS department. I just kind of want to know if you have a max Magic Missile, if that will do a little bit more DPS. Of course, when you have minus armor, you know, your entire team hits a little bit harder, but never mind about that. Of course, the Terror build was selected to push a little bit better, and pushing they are trying to do on the mid lane. The question is, will it be denied? As we have a couple guys in position, looks like it is going to get last hit. No-Tail in a little bit of trouble. Here comes Migo. There's a Black Hole just used on one. They're going to get No-Tail for sure. They're going to get a little bit more. Yes, looks like the sun goes on Nova. Nova's going to go down. That definitely does not help on the EXP gain. And I do believe Eclypsia just said, okay, we lost a tower in mid, but we're going to get 2 kills, and perhaps your tower in the mid lane as well.
I think only one of those was a track kill, but still, you're giving that track gold to 4 heroes. That's huge. That's another 200 gold on the board across the team. Or it's basically another hero kill, too. Era, speaking of that track gold, about to give up some more. Oh, this Bounty Hunter. This is the issue with Bounty Hunter. If you give him a good start and you don't group up as 5, you might be in for some trouble. Blink Dagger on Hani in the middle lane. Goes on Angel. Angel is going to go down. He is going to go down. But a big ultimate use for that. Still definitely a worthwhile kill. Good. I'm glad to see Hani's not afraid to use that ultimate. I felt like Fnatic was a little bit too hesitant to drop ultimates early on this game. Certainly not the case from Hani this time around, but at the same time, they got to shut down Bounty Hunter. It's not enough just to kill the other heroes. If Bounty gets enough farm, he will carry this game eventually, especially since Broodmother, the closest thing to a late game carry on the Dire Squad. Well, I suppose you could say Venge is decent late game, but she's not out carrying a fed Bounty Hunter, and right now he is fed. He's 3-0-1.
Yep. I mean, if you imagine if the Dire Squad had a epicenter back in that mid lane team fight, how that would have changed? Would have changed is the question, and I'm thinking it would. So, for players out there, maybe if he lasted a little bit better, you would have to blink dagger early. I'm not calling Hani out in any sense. I'm trying to a little bit theorycraft. What would happen if there's a big epicenter with the blink dagger back in mid? I think the fight would have swung around, but that's just me.
Well, for whatever reason, he didn't have the blink dagger there in time. But at least they got something out of it, He's not just...
That's definitely true.
Last game we saw them pick up a quick Blink Dagger on a Panda, and I forget who the other hero was. Oh, it was a Sand King as well, I believe. And then they just did nothing with them, so at least they're getting some kills here and there. Let's take a look at the gold graph. It's actually favoring the Dire. I guess that's off the back of the 2 tower kills to none. Initiation on the middle lane, Playmate going to go down. There's that level 1 swap, or the quick swap, I should say, coming into effect, as well as the Blink Dagger on Hani. Picking up a kill, the mid tower's dead, but they could smoke up and rotate bottom. I think they need to continue to be aggressive, take advantage of the Blink Dagger, take advantage of swap, and go for some quick early kills.
You're absolutely right. One of the benefits of having an early Blink Dagger, it's not just for the team fight, although we attribute a lot of the team fight to the Blink Epicenter, but the fact that you could initiate from range and Crystal Maiden Rise, Come on, anyone. There's gonna blink, bro. Strike couple right hits here, and Rise is gonna go down. Local match missile not gonna do too much, but it does stun. And a stun was all they need to get off the kill. And I think they're gonna choke up on the bot lane. Migo